GTA 6 will bring with it a host of new characters that we will be interacting with, and in this video we're going to go over all the official information that we know about some of these characters. If you like these kind of videos, why not consider subscribing? Let's just get into it. Rockstar gives us a little insight on both Jason and Lucia, saying that they've always known the deck is stacked against them, but when an easy score goes wrong, they find themselves on the darkest side of the sunniest place in America, in the middle of a criminal conspiracy stretching across the state of Leonida, forced to rely on each other more than ever if they want to make it out alive. Looking at Jason, we got confirmation that first his name is Jason and his full name is Jason Duvall. Rockstar says that Jason wants an easy life, but things just keep getting harder. Jason grew up around grifters and crooks, and after a stint in the army trying to shake off his troubled teens, he found himself in the Keys doing what he knows best, working for local drug runners. It might be time for him to try something new. Rockstar also reveals that meeting Lucia could be the best or worst thing to ever happen to him. Jason knows how he'd like it to turn out, but right now it's hard to tell. In trailer 2, it also comes across that Jason is completely smitten by Lucia, and even though he has a bunch of women that are clearly interested in him, he seems to be hopelessly head over heels about Lucia, and it's implied that he was visiting her regularly while she was in prison. The quote they used to sum up Jason is, "If anything happens, I'm right behind you." Again showing that he's madly in love with Lucia and he has got her back. Which brings us to Lucia Caminos. Rockstar tells us that Lucia's father taught her to fight as soon as she could walk. Life has been coming at her, swinging ever since. Fighting for her family landed her in Leonida Penitentiary, but sheer luck got her out. Lucia's learned her lesson, which is only smart moves from here out. Rockstar goes on to say that more than anything, Lucia wants a good life her mum has dreamed of since their days in Liberty City. But instead of half-baked fantasies, Lucia is prepared to take matters into her own hands. Fresh out of prison and ready to change the odds in her favor, Lucia is committed to her plan no matter what it takes. And a life with Jason could be her way out. They also give a quote to sum up Lucia, which is, "The only thing that matters is who you know and what you got," which is a little narcissistic and completely the flip side of Jason. So it does kind of come across that in their relationship, Jason is very into Lucia and has her back, whereas Lucia is kind of more of what Jason might be able to do for her. Am I reading that correctly though? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. What got me more excited is that we were introduced to 6 more new characters who will be in the game interacting with Lucia and Jason. We will start with Booby Ike, and for him, Rockstar says it's all about heart, the Jack of Hearts. Booby is a local Vice City legend and acts like it. One of the few to transform his time in the streets into a legitimate empire spanning real estate, a strip club, and a recording studio. Booby's all smiles until it's time to talk business. Booby might seem like he's just out for himself, but it's his partnership with the young aspiring music mogul Drake One for Only Raw Records that he's most invested in. Now they just need a hit. The quote to sum him up is, "The club money pay for the studio and the drug money pay for it all." Which brings us nicely into the next 2 characters' introduction, which is Real Dimes, with their little tagline, viral videos and viral hooks. Bay Lux and Roxy, aka Real Dimes, have been friends since high school. Girls with the savvy to turn their time shaking down local dealers into cold, hard cash via spicy rap tracks and a relentless social media presence. They are one hit away from fame. An early hit single with local rapper Dunfly maybe took Real Dimes to new heights. Now, after 5 years and a whole lot of trouble, they're signed to Only Raw Records, hoping that lightning can strike twice. The quote to sum them up is, "All my dimes in this club, meet my twin, make it a dub." The next character we're introduced to is Brian Heder, with the tagline, "Nothing better than a mudslide at sunset." Brian is a classic drug runner from the golden age of smuggling in the Keys. Still moving product through his boatyard with his third wife, Lon, Brian's been around long enough to let the others do his dirty work. He might look like a Leonida beach bum, but moves like a great white shark. Brian's letting Jason live rent-free at one of his properties, so long as he helps with the local shakedowns and stops by for Laurie's sangria once in a while. The quote to sum Brian up is, "I hauled so much grass in that plane I could make the state of Leonida levitate." Next we have Cal Hampton with the tagline, "What if everything on the internet was true?" He's Jason's friend and a fellow associate of Brian's. Cal feels safest hanging at home, snooping on Coast Guard comms with a few beers and some private browser tabs open. It has the headline, "The psychotics are in charge, so get used to it." Cal is at the low tide of America and happy there. Casual paranoia loves company, but his friend Jason has bigger plans. The quote they picked to give us some insight to him are, "There are too many birds flying around in perfect formation." Next on the introduction is Draquan Priest, who is an artist with only Raw Records. Draquan was always more of a hustler than a gangster, and even when he was dealing on the streets to make ends meet, breaking into music was the goal. Now that Draquan has signed the Real Dimes, Draquan's days of booking acts into Booby's strip club might be numbered as he sets his sights on the Vice City scene. The quote to sum him up are, "Dancers are like my A&Rs. If the record's a hit, DJ's gonna be spinning it." And the last character we're introduced to, which I think is the most interesting of the characters, is Raul Bautista. And he has the tagline, "Experience counts." Confidence, charms, and cunning, Raul is a seasoned bank robber, always on the hunt for a talent, ready to take the risks that bring the biggest rewards. A professional adapts. Raul's recklessness raises the stakes with every score. Sooner or later, his crew will have to double down or pull their chips from the table. The quote to give us insight into Raul is, "Life is full of surprises, my friend. I think we'd all be wise to remember that." I think the reason I find him the most interesting is, of course, he's a bank robber, and this screenshot here of himself and Lucia and Jason in a bank robbery gone wrong just reminds me so much of the movie Heat and that shootout, and that would be awesome to play through. That's all the official information we have, but there are a few other characters that have been scattered in the trailers, and I'd just like to quickly go over them now. Since I don't know their names because Rockstar hasn't told us their names, I'm just gonna probably give them a quick nickname and just move on. The first lady I call the Iguana Lady because you can find her in the Rusty Anchor, and she has an iguana just hanging around her neck. If you look at this screenshot here, you can see that the iguana has a crown on it and possibly a cape, and you just know that this is going to be like one of those like stranger or freak kind of missions or something like this, but you're definitely going to have a memorable interaction with this woman. There are a few interactions with Lucia, Jason, and their friends in the bar. Of course, we know Cal is a friend of Jason's already, but there seems to be two other friends as well that are in the group. Apart from this shot, the only other shot of the female friend is when Lucia grabs Jason to lead him to dance. You can see her tagging along enthusiastically. She also looks pretty pregnant, so it is possible that she is having a child of the other friend. As for the male friend, we do get a shot later of him getting a selfie with Jason and Lucia, so it does feel like all of these friends like to just hang out and get drunk around the Leonida Keys. The other character that we only get for a split second, but you can tell that they're going to be a character of some sort, and that is the lady in pink that just goes, "Hey Jason," while she's holding a chihuahua, and you can see her car is skidded up in pink and it has the pink little paw prints running up the side. You just know she's going to give you some wacky interactions as well. We know a little bit about Laurie, who is the third wife of Brian, and usually when you see her with Brian, she's just like normal, but then you see this clip here of her just walking out with a gun and you're like, this woman's a bit of a battle axe or something. So I can't wait to see what Laurie is going to be like as well. There might be a third worker that Brian has as well. He might have a few workers, but there's a possibility that this could be the same person in all of these three shots, but it could just be a generic helper that'll just be around. I'm pretty sure that this is the same guy. Here you can see him with Brian, and then he's just hanging out with Cal also, so he'll probably have a few lines with the main character, surely. I think the most intriguing character that they leaked to us that we still don't know anything about, of course, is the cop. We just know that he's probably a little shady, as he's kind of trying to convince this cop here that, you know, cops should watch each other's back. But it's really interesting that we're seeing these kind of interactions of him, because normally we don't see what the cops are doing unless our character has an interaction with the cop. Now, a lot of people speculate that maybe Jason is a cop. I don't think he is, but he might be working with them. Maybe it was to get a deal for Lucia. Maybe there's a part in the story where they're kind of caught and they have to do some dirty work for him. But whoever he is, you just know that he's going to play an important part to the storyline going forward. I think that is probably one of the coolest things about Rockstar games, is that there are so many memorable experiences and interactions that you have with what could just be a side character, but they can always just stick in your mind for ages. I think Red Dead Redemption does this fantastically as well, and of course the Strangers and Freaks missions in GTA 5 are very, very memorable. Any characters that you spotted in the background that we still haven't seen yet, but you just kind of know we're going to be introduced and learn a lot more about them? Love to hear them. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you all again later. Peace, people.